Welcome everyone to our June Historical Society meeting. Enjoying the sunlight here. So we can stand to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So it's fun to be in the downtown, and because in the winter it's closed up, and they hear, there's so much, here. There was so much that was done in this townhouse, and now we've got technology. I'll turn it on. Turn you up. I'll turn it on. Okay. So now we got all this technology. It's really amazing. There's a lot of nice things to see here at Norman. We have the townhouse, the schoolhouse, and the museum open on the weekends for people to come in and see what we've got. So feel free, or if you can't come at those times and you want to come, just call us. We have some of the Grange setups, some of the stations, and over at the museum we have a section for the Women's Club, we have a section for the Grange. We have, we're trying to get as much of the town's history so that everybody can see it, so appreciate it. Some of the camp stuff or July program is going to be about camps in Moultonborough, and then our August program is going to be a video hike up to the castle area, right? So, but it's a video hike. We were going to try to do an actual hike, but that might be a little difficult on especially just climbing and stuff. So, and then we have our one of our fundraisers, July 29th, Annie and the Orphans. It's a dinner and dance, and it's, I believe, $25 per person. And it's so much fun because certain people really like to dance in this group. I'm looking at Sam. It's a lot of fun, and everyone has a good time. So everybody dances. Yes, we do. So welcome, and our speaker is Mr. Wakefield. We're ready for you, and welcome back, old neighbors, old friends, new people. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Before I get started, first of all, thanks for having me again. My mother always used to say, use your inside voice, but I'm going to have to use my outside voice.
Please do.
So, yell if you don't hear me. I'll speak on it. I had a bit of bad news today that might be of interest to the group. I just found it out on the internet, but many of you might not have known. Elmer Davis passed away in the last couple of days. His brother, Ernest Davis, who was a longtime member, had been a president of the district for many years, and I served with Ernest as a selectman for one 3-year term. But my the delegates couldn't take the tension in the selectmen's office, so I got out. Anyway, and the other thing I wanted to say was, if you didn't happen to be here when I did the first of these programs, that Norman has that program on DVD, and he has some copies back there for sale. He tells me the sacrifice price. He's smiling. Anyway, the last time when we did this, I basically started at the Tuftonborough line with postcards showing scenery in Moultonborough. Came up from Tuftonborough, through the village, over to Center Harbor with one little side trip up to Sibley Road, because I had a nice slide of the Sibley Fountain there. But it's in the other one. This time I had said that I would try to do the ones that I didn't do last time, which included the castle and the Austin Park and Moultonborough Neck. And I thought maybe if I tried to do both of those tonight, people would probably become totally bored by the end of it. So I'm just doing Moultonborough Neck from Long Island to Green's Corner. I'm a little bit intimidated because Ron Baker's over here, and he has a collection of pictures, postcards of Geneva Point camp. I do have some here, but can't compare. So maybe Ron will do a program. This is the one that we were just talking about, the Long Island house on Long Island. And I thought I knew where it was, but Chuck here corrected me on that. There's some stone post, stone gate. The road went up to the hotel. It was to the left. If you're going down Long Island Road, up to the left on the island. And if you see the next one, there's a different view of it coming across. I don't know if this is coming from just from the stone post or all the way from Steamboat Landing in Hazy Boats, probably from Steamboat Landing. And it's one of the hand colored ones, which are great to find. And from there, this is a view from Long Island, looking back across at the Ossa piece. I think this is the house that Dick and Betty Trexler lived in when they had the marina. Next. What does it say? Lakeland, Pissaukee, Long Island Beach, so we're getting closer. It looks a little different now. For one thing, it isn't covered equal. Baking in the sun. And then it goes on towards the bridge. This is an early one of the earlier versions of the Long Island Bridge. I'm trying to think who it was that told me, maybe Dave Thompson told me that at one time when they were between bridges here, taking one out and building another one, Charles Emerson George, who we knew as M. George, down by Lee's Mills, Lee's Mill Road, actually had a little ferry boat, and it took the people to get to their cottages on the island. I think there's two more. There's a somewhat newer version, Long Island Bridge, and then the third one is about as it looks today, single span. They had to catch that with some fall colors for us. And then it went from there. This is Trexler's Marina. And the reason I put this one in is because I built that lighthouse. I can tell you it's 9 feet in diameter at the bottom, narrows down to 6 feet, I think, up at the top. It's 14 feet high, and it was great fun bending plywood around the sheet and make it round. This is a closer look at that. You can tell, modest. This is about the time I was working for Trexler's. It seemed to be a bit of a problem framing this against not only a curved wall, but one that's going away from you. What was more difficult was the window frames. Same problem. This is earlier. This is the marina before church. This is Whitty's. And the postmark, the stamp and the postmark on the back of this card is, you can see there was a gas pump over there. There were two marinas. The postmark was Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire, because there was a post office. If you go down the neck, instead of turning right towards Long Island, straight ahead on the Monkey Road, there was a farmhouse there. And the Brown family, actually, Cynthia Brown, was the postmaster down there for many years. That building is gone now, with a lot of the other old buildings. I understand we're going to lose another one now, by the way, Country Fair Inn, which is where my grandmother and my second husband used to live, Dr. Logan.
So that's also before plastic.
Yeah.
Yes, on maps all the way up into the eighties, had the town, theoretically, of Winnipesaukee, where that post office was.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And but this was, they had wooden boats. They hadn't yet perfected fiberglass trees. Whitty's store, right there at the, you can see the bridge in the background, and not a very extensive dock system compared to today. This is, okay, the little beach, I believe. That's down by the island. I don't remember these cottages. I believe this is by
Say it again.
yeah. I think those cottages were about where the campground is at the bridge. Watson's. That's my vote, anyway. Now, the Playhouse, Camp Bernard, maybe you should take over the narrative. But Camp Bernard, maybe you could look at that. It started out as just a Winnipesaukee Inn, an international training school.
No, that wasn't their market. To me, the point was, I think that was.
Well, this is Winnipesaukee, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay. I jumped ahead of myself. Next one. Okay, Lake Winnipesaukee from Camp Winnemac. Okay, help. Where was Camp Winnemac? I don't know. Anybody heard of Camp Winnemac? Oh, I wish Mary Smith was here.
Is that one of those things, jump?
Huh?
The picture?
I can't hear.
The boat, was that a jump, the picture? Was that
That there?
one of those jump things that you would?
That's a slide, I think.
Or, when you go on this.
I have another one.
Water skiing and you went.
Oh, that's water skiing. I wouldn't go off that on water ski. Can you go back one?
Did they have that then?
Okay, I'm sorry, forward. That's it. No, I wouldn't go off that. You see, they get these sticks up here at the top. There's another one from, that you want to come to from Camp Atkinson. With a slide like that. It's one of my 2 R-rated postcards. There's a lad sliding down into the water, fortunately on his stomach. Aerial view of Geneva Point. Now we're getting to Geneva Point. I wish I could research Camp Winnemac. It's just, can't pick anything out there. And the Marshall fought arriving at Geneva Point Camp, Winnipesaukee, New Hampshire.
That
Now,
was at the bottom of Block Road. Some of those piers for that dock is still under the water.
I showed this card one time to Frank Green,
Yeah.
and he said, "That's a nice card. That's where it is, but that's not the Marshall fought." Said Frank Green, who's older than anybody here.
So did he say what it was?
He didn't know, he didn't say what it was. This is one of several of the inn, the Winnipesaukee Inn at this point,
Wow.
and
Before
cottages.
the Saki Inn, there was a barn for, the Greens, and they had a Rocksmont, poultry farm.
Okay.
And then it became, Saki Inn about 1909, while Greens still owned it. And then, someplace between 1909 and 1919, when they sold it, as a precursor to the Winnipesaukee Post Office that you were referring to earlier,
Yeah,
the Winnipesaukee Post Office was housed on the first floor of that inn.
oh, it was? Okay, I didn't know.
And the buildings to the left of the three-story building there have all been, most of them, well, the two closest to the inn have been moved elsewhere on the property. So they don't exist there, but they are elsewhere on the property today.
It's amazing how people move
Yeah.
things around. As an aside, you familiar with the Richardson house on 109? Horace Richardson lived at that barn. That barn used to be down at the bottom of the hill. And Horace's grandfather, who was Horace Smith, moved it up there with oxen and rollers and a capstan. He said, take big bars of the rope, and the oxen would walk in a circle around this capstan and bar it up, reset everything and do it again. And then ended up lining it up perfectly with the house. Another view of the inn. Still, it says it was still a Winnipesaukee Inn at that point. And vintage teens maybe.
Yeah,
It's after 1970 because the postcard is too hard on the back. If you're looking at old postcards, if it doesn't have a division in the middle, this place for the address, only the address from on the back, if you want to put a message on it, you go around the image on the front, around the edges, and whatever.
Didn't have much room.
Not much room, no. Yet another, this was a real photo postcard, which gives us really good and sharp. You take that postcard, and if you had a jeweler's loop, you might be able to
by then they added
see
on
the
that,
people.
that front, the lower level there on the front,
Yes,
was a large dining area. And that had been added, probably subsequent to 1909.
this photo by R. Wright. This photo by R. Wright, it says.
That's Lakeview Lodge at Geneva Point, that was built in the 40s.
In the 40s, yeah. It's obviously later construction. And there are others, the chapel.
That was the chapel, which was converted from a chicken coop.
You gotta get him to come deeper just on it, because he knows this stuff. I do not. This is more as it looks now. A little less like a chicken coop here.
But that was converted in the 20s. It's been upgraded a couple of times since. In fact, I think it was another upgrade in the last year or two.
And it's on concrete piers. So, is it still on piers or the foundation?
I think that's still on here.
Still on.
As far as I know, I haven't been over there in a number of years.
The row of cabins,
That's the Dock Road cabins. And the
Dock
ones
Road.
that led down the Dock Road to where we saw that.
that's
home.
where they were. Yeah. Still there?
Still there, most of them are still there, some of them have been taken out by trees coming down, and they didn't go close. The Dock Road went down there, and in the early years after we sold it to the International Sunday School Association, in 1919, really the only way to get there, essentially was you came Weirds, you came up and then Weirds to the local, and then to the local. We didn't have much in the way of a road going out to Meca that way.
There was a familiar with Tanglewood Shores?
Yes,
Had no road. father used to cut cordwood and roll out there. But Wolf is one of the names you mentioned. Roll, the only way to get to the camp was from the Melbourne side, from Moultonborough, probably not all the way down. But down there, yeah, it's got another building. That far down. Malden Cottage in tents.
That was one of the buildings that used to be right up against the inn.
Well, this was
So that got moved over there.
chronologically, I luckily got it in the right order. A little ways here.
And they had tent platforms with those canvas things, and ultimately they built cabins which were to the chapel was to the right of those tent platforms. And one of the other buildings that came from over by the inn got between Malden and where those tent platforms.
We still have 10. Yeah. Different view of the same North Road.
Yeah.
Dark Road Cat, oh yes. And this is a view from,
From the inn, looking down to the lake.
I like the white birch cross. And there's, I think the next one also has that cross. My wife and I married from Kentucky, brought some New Hampshire white birch in the trunk of cars like this driving down. And I made one and hung it in front of a, looked like an Appalachian Trail shelter. We were married in front of it with wire, and then very carefully painted the wire black so you couldn't see it and focused the light on the cross. But I like natural things like that. Calisthenics, I think
That's the green.
tents. Look, oh, this building, can you see that building there? Can you see that building there? Four windows. The Great American Game. Women playing the league of their own. Good.
Bloopers.
I hate to try to hit a ball through that infield. How many of them are there? 12 people there, I think.
That was the barn, right in the tower, that barn was in that picture just
Oh,
before.
was it? Okay. Back up one. Back back.
Now that's to come from, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go here, no, forward one, there, swimming, I'm guessing 1950s. Yeah. It wasn't. Recreation period, I don't know, I see somebody with horseshoes, pitching horseshoes. Now, Camp Tecumseh, intercamp or canoe race. These camps are canoes that would hold 6 or 8 young people, and they'd race them. And Tecumseh winning the intercamp. Of course. Of course. And this is double 2 men, 2 guys rowing.
Now, they don't say on that one, they don't say Moultonborough, they say White Mountains.
Yeah, White Mountains.
All of these cards that I have, Camp Tecumseh, White Mountains, New Hampshire, and I didn't even know about them until Russ Lamprey handed me some. And I found a few more since. I did Google it, so I give them to Jay Love, the archives, Camp Tecumseh. And actually, I gave him a catalog. Hopefully about the camp.
Fred Clark worked on those archives at Atkinson. Art Clark worked on the archives.
I have a copy of his book on Atkinson. It's really a pretty nice book. Good job. The grub wagon. And I think Tecumseh tended towards boys like from junior high on. I don't think that the little guys necessarily. Cecil Rivers one time was standing in front of his house over here, and somebody went by like that, and he said, "I don't know how fast he's going, but if he turns around, he'll be right back." Very noisy. This is about the same distance the front of my house is from 109. Okay. Here we are.
Oh dear.
They're on Red Hill, so they aren't at the top because I can see that more of the ridge up here. So I don't know where on Red Hill they were, and I hike it all the time. But Tecumseh does, they did some nice hikes, 50 miles and things like that through the White Mountains. Okay. Okay, this is the entrance, obviously, and this is a guy doing a 1.5, and you can see his bare flank there. That's one of my RV. Now, if you go to a postcard show, you can find even worse cars, but they aren't about Moultonborough. And I think he, and oh yeah, I was going to say, I think he must have jumped off, got himself up on this pole. I don't know where he was jumping from. And there's a lad in the water over there too. And this is the other one. They got a little out of focus, which is good. But he's sliding. I don't know what that material is. There wasn't that much of that sort of stuff. I wonder if they had like corrugated roofing. That's recent.
Very uncomfortable.
Well, if they happen to hit a snag, and yeah. Yes.
That's really lovely.
And I like the fact that the Aussie came out and showed as well. Okay, we come further up the neck. Who knows what this is? Home. Great. That's a beautiful, beautiful place right there. I'm working my way up the neck. We're going to get through this pretty quick, actually. We're going to break guns and spot. I don't want this to be too long. Now, is that the sheep barn? Up home?
This
To the
Huh?
top, we
No,
have,
we have
I can't hear you.
We had this.
we have the top.
We had this.
Oh, that's
over-
right. That's where that came from. I forgot that. This finial on the roof, the top of the
That's the caravan.
steeple. Okay.
Is that still standing?
Didn't they move that down to Windward Harbor?
No, still there.
This is entrance to Green's Basin, and I think you're looking out through the entrance to Green's Basin because that's not Red Hill, that's going to be the Ossapees over there. Right on Green's Basin. T-Rock? T-Rock.
So that's green. Yeah, close to green town.
And they're having an outing, and look at, the guy's got a bow tie.
Yeah,
There used to be a bit of pictures of my father wearing a tie at the beach. That's the ocean.
yeah. And she's got really fully that skirts. That would be
What do you call that rock?
T-Rock.
T-rock?
Yeah.
T-rock? Okay.
And I don't know if it's a letter T or a T-E-A.
There's always people diving on it, so.
I'm sorry.
There's always people on it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Why, you go up there. Yeah.
I just turned up my hearing aids. Okay. Among the islands of Greens. Thanks. I always like that one.
Yeah.
Did they incorporate that boat into the town shield that you see on the side of the fire engines and stuff? I don't know whose it was, but it was rather nicely kept. Another green space. Again, I think this is the awesome basin.
And it says Red Hill.
The basin there is,
Because the better side of Peninsula Island is Red Hill.
is that Red Hill? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever been down the basin where you enter the basin in the winter? Don't go on the ice.
Oh, no.
I've seen it skimmed over twice in my life.
Yeah, it's always open.
Real cool morning, there was this much ice. But it held up with me. And here's better one showing that's Red Hill for sure. And again, this is about the only thing I got off the beaten path. Coming up the neck, but that far off the beaten path. Senna's Deepwood Lodges, Tony Senna. Go down Jerry Road, you take that first right and left, and straight, a long straightaway. And then the road flares to the right to go to Smith Cove, goes left to Toltec Point, right there, before you went to, before you made that turn, basically straight ahead. And at a town meeting, when I was in high school, the town actually voted to cede land in a rangeway to Tony Senna in exchange for a parallel piece of land. Because he had land on the other side of the rangeway, which was useless to him. Remember the vote. This is the last one. At the top of the neck, that's Green's Corner. And I think you're looking at the Ossopies over here. That to me is Sandwich Black Snow, perhaps. So many of the cards would be published by different people. I don't know who A.A. Bennett was. A lot of them are IG1, like the Moultonborough cards, from the Green's Corner and Saturday, all of that IG1. Oh, okay. Did you hear? So A.A. Bennett that owned the Garden Inn in Santa Barbara, as you make the turn by the Demeric Farm. The fountain, Demeric Farm.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, that fountain. And that concludes it. And then
How
we get the cards?
did you come to get them? Like, just
Well, it's interesting.
passing, or-
Yeah, I had a few, I was given a lot of cards. I go to postcard shows, and I pick them up here and there, and I've about given up. I have 475 Moultonborough postcards. But there was such a common means of communication. I've got a card somewhere, and it says, it's just a picture of Moultonborough Village somewhere, and it says, "Tell Harry to bring a dozen eggs when he comes over on Wednesday." Because hardly anyone had a telephone. I found an old directory. You know, there was a telephone in the country store. Dr. Lovering had a telephone. Ed Goss, who lived where I live, was the town clerk, he had one. But there weren't very many Moultonborough people listed as having telephones at all.
That was when the phone book was in the American Secrets.
Yeah, and it's thick.
Yeah, 4 numbers.
Now, someone else who's in competition with me collecting Moultonborough is Ronnie Burke. He's got some really nice cards. And sometime maybe I can get them away from him. But thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
But I spoke to Atkinson partner Monday, and I was like,